Power-Up Notes, and I'm your host, Swagnilla Ice. In this debut episode for November 2025, I'll be looking at the new hardware Valve has announced, a new update to Proton, and more. Stay tuned for all your gaming and Linux news. First up, it's Game Notes. This segment is dedicated to covering the biggest releases and industry news across the entire gaming world, then analyzing how those trends impact the open source ecosystem and Linux gamers. Valve unveiled 3 new devices joining the Steam Deck family: the Steam Machine, which is a living room console, the Stream Frame, a standalone VR headset, and the redesigned Steam controller. This is Valve expanding their hardware philosophy from portable to living room and immersive gaming. This is not the failure of the 2015 Steam Machine. The market has changed. PC gaming is dominant. The console wars are over. Sony and Microsoft are cross-platform, for example. Crucially, Proton and SteamOS are mature and reliable now. The software foundation is finally rock solid. All of the new hardware runs on Linux-based SteamOS, reinforcing Valve's dedication to the platform. The new Steam Machine is a Linux PC designed for high-end play. It is 6 times more powerful than the Steam Deck and targets 4K at 60 FPS. This game is no longer just for the handheld or niche. It's now a serious competitor in the high-performance living room space. And personally, I think that that's going to be a pretty darn awesome. That there's no price yet announced for any of those things, and well, with the way hardware prices are, I can respect Valve for not announcing a price until closer to the thing. But that's all for Game Notes. It's time for Kernel Notes. Now we move to Kernel Notes. This is where we break down the latest news from the world of Linux, covering everything from major distro updates and kernel developments to technical layers like Proton, to keep you powered up. Why the new Proton 10.0-3 update matters for stability, and why Valve's choice of Arch is the key to this success. The first point is the Proton 10.03 update. It's a major stable update release, fixing compatibility and performance. Specific fixes include the finals no longer being kicked, and at the Epic Games Store launcher, it'll be a lot more stable. And the core components of the update feature DXVK for Direct 3D 9-11 to Vulkan, and VKD 3D-Proton for Direct 3D 12 support. Plus fixes, like I said, to various games. And Valve decided to go with Arch instead of Debian or Ubuntu, as they did for SteamOS versions 1 and 2, because I strongly believe that they like the rolling release of Arch versus the more stable releases of Debian and Ubuntu, because that lets them to push out updates for new hardware a lot quicker, and allows them to ensure that the SteamOS and the hardware that runs it will always have the most compatible, up-to-date drivers and software available to it. So you'll always have an awesome gaming thing. The key is that Arch's rolling release model is crucial. It allows Valve to push the newest drivers and kernel components needed for hardware like the deck and the new Trail immediately. Debian Mint's stable model is just too slow for Valve. But yet, personally, I like Mint myself because it's stable. And stability is key for me. In fact, the reason why I switched from Windows to Mint is the subject of our next segment called Editorial. Next, it's time for the editorial. In this segment, I take one key issue from the month, offer my personal deep analysis and opinion, sparking a conversation with my community. Personally, I chose to move from Windows 10 to Linux Mint 22 because Windows 10 has come to the end of life. And the only way to get more support for Windows 10 is to either pay $30 for another year of support, which afterwards you either gotta buy a new computer and for Windows 11 and junk your old one, or you can keep using Windows 10 but be risking it being or be risking it for hacking and stuff. Or, of course, like you could do what I did. Switch to Linux Mint. Or another Linux distro. But personally, I like Linux Mint. Although, other ones are just as good. And plus, the fact that Windows kept breaking my network. My internet connection after every bloody update was also driving me up the wall. Linux offers me more stability and more control over when I apply updates. Plus, Windows was slow at times. Linux is a lot faster. And I don't have to worry about my hardware being obsolete. Linux also uses fewer system resources compared to Windows, so my computer is a bit more responsive. Plus, I can fine tune my computer the way I want it to. If I want say something to be a different color, done. I want, say, my taskbar to be different. Consider it done. If I don't want a specific component on it anymore, I can just uninstall it. Linux gives me the freedom. As long as I can keep the core essentials, I can do what I want with my OS. And if I break it, that's on me. And I can drop to a terminal with just a simple curl alt and F just to fix a problem if I need to. And even with games, some games aren't perfect, even with Proton and Lutris and Wine. I have Steam on here too, so not all games are running perfectly, but as far as I care, I mostly play Minecraft, so for me, that's an acceptable sacrifice. And I also use my computer for browsing the web and doing my money and working on my episodes. That's all I do. So, really? As long as I can do all that, I'm happy. And Linux Mint is what is designed for people who who wanted Windows and want a similar feel for it. It's not that hard to switch, and there's plenty of tutorials out there for you to do so. Linux is a mature operating system. Yes, there are things that you can't do that you can do in Windows. Like, there are some games that have, say, kernel level anti-cheat. But honestly, personally, if you want to play a game that's kernel level anti-cheat, that's on you and not that's your problem. But honestly, I don't care about the kernel level anti-cheat myself. I feel that kernel level anti-cheat just shows that they don't trust that the publisher doesn't trust you enough to play the game properly. Besides, some people would say that by playing modded, I'm cheating in Minecraft. And that's a disagreement. The way you play your games is up to you. But if you're playing multiplayer, yes, you probably should be following rules. I'll say that. And the Steam client? Well, that, believe you me, and with Proton and Lutris and all these other software tools out there, makes gaming on Linux a lot easier than it used to be. Believe you me, it used to be a lot harder. I ran Linux, like, say, what was it? Probably good 10 years ago, and it was a lot harder to get done what I want to do than it is now. Believe you me, Linux has matured a lot in the last decade. Windows got worse, Linux got better in my humble opinion. And besides, if you don't know if your game that you love will work or not on Linux, you can always use the Proton DB. That's an awesome resource. Just type in Proton DB into a search engine and you'll find it. And then you can search for the name of your game that you're curious about whether or not it will run well. And it'll tell you how well it will run if there's any issues. It's an awesome resource, folks. Honestly, I feel that plus I don't have to worry about ads. I don't have to worry about AI unless I want to use AI via my browser. I really love the freedom that Linux Mint gives me. I'm not tied to any specific software. I don't have to use any specific. I don't have to upgrade my hardware. It's really great. You should check it out too. Finally, shine the spotlight. In this segment, we highlight an overlooked tool, project, or piece of knowledge, giving you practical ways to improve your security, workflow, or gaming experience. And this month's spotlight is going to be shining on the awesome software called VeraCrypt. VeraCrypt is a free, open-source disk encryption software for Windows, Mac OS, and Linux. It creates a secure, encrypted container, file, or partition that looks like random data until you unlock it with your password. It's a successor to TrueCrypt, with new security improvements, making it highly trusted. The reason why gamers and creators can need VeraCrypt is perfect for protecting assets that matter most to a video creator or gamer, such as source code or mod development files, raw video footage, or even your personal data. Or you can even use it to hide stuff that you don't want others to see, say certain content that you don't want others to know that you're looking at. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. Honestly, plus the fact that if your computer is stolen or confiscated, your files remain unreadable. And the fact there is a an awesome thing in it called plausible deniability, also called the hidden volume. Like you can create you can hide an encrypted drive within another encrypted drive, and use two separate passwords. The outer drive's password, you can store less secure stuff, and therefore, if you have to give the so that's and the inner drives where you secure the super secure stuff. Basically, if you're forced to give up your password and maybe the PMM as well for your secure drive, you only have to give up the external one password and PMM. You don't have to give up the internal one, and therefore your stuff will still remain, your really secure stuff that you really can't afford to have someone else take a look at, will remain hidden and secure. Unless, of course, they figure out that you do have a hidden volume and they demand your thing. It's not perfect, of course, but I would say that it's better than not having it. Because honestly, in my humble opinion, you should have it. You should have something and not need it, than need something and not have it. But anyways, folks, I hope you enjoyed this month's episode for the Power Up Notes. I'll see you next month for another episode. Of course, I'll probably see you then on another awesome gaming video. But until then, folks, my name's been Swagnilla Ice, and this is the Power Up Notes. See you next time!